Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I still can't explain what happened. Hello everyone. This is my first time posting here, so bear with me as I'm not too sure how everything works as far as Greentext and whatnot. This is something that happened over the course of a week while I was house sitting for a friend of mine from work while he and his wife were on a cruise. I've never really had any kind of paranormal encounter or anything of the like happen to me before, so I'm still not really sure if it counts or not. Some days were more active than others, so I'll do my best to cover everything if anyone's interested. Day 1. First day watching the house. Friend had 3 dogs and a cat. 2 of the dogs are older and starting to lose their vision with age. Get all my things unpacked in the spare bedroom and open the doors to the backyard to let the dogs out. Let them run around, do their business, and play fetch for a little while. After about 10 or 15 minutes, we head back in for treats and water. As I'm getting their treats ready, I hear what sounds like the front door open. It's that distinct squeaky noise front doors have when you open them. Early on the first day, I think my friend came back because they forgot something as their ship leaves the next morning. Walk around the corner of the hallway to see what they forgot. Front door is still closed and locked from when I got in that morning. Didn't think anything of it other than it was weird. The days pick up activity-wise as the week goes on. That was all that really happened on day 1, and I didn't want to shove a lot on one post. I'll post in day and night sections as things have happened to not make these too awfully long. Night 1. Nothing else happened during the first day other than the door sounds. Feed all the animals and put the little ones in their cages for the night. I should mention he has 1 beagle that he lets roam free and 2 little ankle biters he sleeps in a kennel at night. Check the cat in the cat room and head to bed, closing the door behind me to keep the cat out because a friend said he likes to sneak in and hide under the bed. First night around early as hell, a.m. Ankle biters start barking at nothing, waking me up. A little annoyed, but shrugs it off as the older one is going blind, so I figure that's why he's barking. Vaguely remember hearing what sounded like footsteps and feeling like someone was in the house moving around. Get out of bed and open the door to see if anyone's in the house. Footsteps stop. Dogs bark maybe twice more as I was walking out. Everyone calms down as I come into the living room. Check the house but find nothing out of the ordinary. Go back to the bedroom, shut the door, and get back in bed. More to come. Just trying to keep these short like I said. Morning, day 2. Wake up early for work. Roll over to find my bedroom door halfway open. What? I know I shut it all the way. Found the cat hiding behind the exercise bike tucked away in the corner. Figured the little shit pushed on the door or something, or I just didn't have it shut all the way. Catch cat. Put him back out in the main part of the house so I can get dressed. Let the dogs out, feed everyone, and head to work. Afternoon, day 2. Come back from work tired. Open the entertainment center to get to the TV. They have one of those fancy ones with 2 swinging doors you have to open like an old hutch would. Turn the TV on while I'm letting all the animals out. Go outside to play fetch and play with the dogs for a while. Come back inside to find the TV is turned off and the doors on the entertainment center are just about closed. Check for the cat to make sure he's not on his shit again. Cat's asleep in his room. Start feeling a little more aware of what's going on. Turn the TV back on while I go shower off. Come back out after drying off to find the TV off again. What the hell? Get pissed at TV thinking there's some power saver mode that I can't find. Go back to playing with the dogs. That's about all for day 2. Gonna eat lunch quickly and post the rest after if anyone's still interested. Night 2. Nothing happened overnight, ankle biters starting barking again, but I didn't hear anything out of the ordinary outside of their barking. Morning, day 3. Wake up for work again. Roll over to find my bedroom door wide open yet again. Start feeling really uncomfortable at this point because I know I made sure that door was shut and latched before falling asleep to keep the cat out. Checked for the cat anyway. Found him asleep in his room on his chair. Brush it off the best I can and get ready for work and let everyone out and feed them again. Leave for work. Afternoon, day 3. Come back from work not as tired. Still a little on edge from this morning. Open everything up again to let the dogs out. Turn the TV on, then take a shower. Dry off, get dressed, and come back out to check the dogs. The TV is off again. Start ruling out any kind of power saver mode. Say screw the TV for a bit. Go back out to play with the pups. Doesn't matter how old they are, they're all pups to me. Come back in after a while to give them treats and settle in for the night. Just happened to glance down the hallway to my bedroom. Bedroom door is wide open. This time feels different, kind of frozen in place. Get a very weird vibe coming from the end of the hall. Not quite like someone is watching me, but pretty close. All in all, it just made me very uncomfortable and spooked out. Close the door carefully and go back to the living room, still on edge after the day. Everything was pretty calm for days 4 and 5. My bedroom door hadn't been messed with, and there was nothing else major aside from the TV turning off when I wasn't in the room, which I pretty much accepted at this point, and the dogs would bark but not much else. The only real new thing was I'd started hearing knocking sounds late at night coming from somewhere in the house that had come in threes when they did. There were a lot of regular noises you would hear a house make, but these were distinct when they would happen. My last 2 days are when the most happened while I was watching the house compared to the other nights. Afternoon, day 6. Got back from work somewhat late thanks to Florida traffic. Set my stuff on the table, turn the TV on, usual shit. Open up the back doors from the sunroom to the backyard as usual, to let everyone outside to do what dogs do. Come back in to find, surprise, the TV is off again. Accepted it as the norm, and went back to my usual after-work routine. Come back out after showering to feed the dogs and settle in. Start watching the evening news while the littlest ankle biter sits on my lap. As they're going over the weather, I catch movement out of the corner of my eye. The sunroom door closes halfway on its own and stops moving when I turn to look. Are you kidding me? Honestly, I don't know what to think or do at this point. Just stare at it for a minute before saying fuck it and going back to the news. 5 or so minutes pass. It moves again. Stop again when I look at it. What kind of house is this? Finally talk my balls out of hiding and walk over to the door. First thought is to check for drafts, crooked door frame, bent hinges, anything that could make it close on its own. Nothing. I should probably mention I had all the other doors and windows closed, so there was no way for a draft to possibly sweep through the house. Open the door back up and go back to the chair. Tell myself it's just one more night and I'm free from this shit. Little side note to show the layout of the house. More or less just to show how everything was arranged and to show that there was no possible was for wind to flow through the house to move the door in any way, as those were the only 2 doors I'd have open at any given time. Final part coming up, I just could fit it all in the last post. Final part. Someone had mentioned that animals can see shit we can't, and that sort of comes into play with this, or at least that's what I'm thinking with it. Day 7. Final day. Happy to be almost out. Nothing really happened up to this point for the day. Remember back to all the ghost shows I used to watch and how they would talk to rooms or spirits and shit like that? Screw it. Why not? Introduce myself. Tell it I don't mean it harm. Stereotypical shit like that. Notice dogs are getting more alert as I'm talking, but shrug it off. Start talking in the direction of the sunroom. Ask if it can give me some kind of sign that it's here or show itself. 2 ankle biters start nervously pacing around the threshold between the living room and sunroom. Ask it again if it can give me some kind of sign that there is actually something here. Ankle biters start growling, barking more than usual toward the direction of the sunroom. Freaks me out a little bit, not gonna lie. After about a minute or so of their barking and growling, I decide to give up and tell it never mind in order to get the dogs to calm down. Dogs settle down as soon as I say that. Gather them up and head to the recliner, so sit down. As I sit down, I notice the lights in the house suddenly get brighter as if they'd been dimmed and I hadn't noticed. Keep on edge until they return the next day and get out. That's about it, really. Sorry if it wasn't as climactic as you'd hoped. I'd never had anything like this happen to me, so it was just something I wanted to share with someone. I've had friends that have house sat for that same friend that have said they've felt like they've been watched, but nothing to the extent of what I'd felt. I told my friend that owned the place what had happened, and he said he's never had anything like that happen to him or his wife, but he definitely looked spooked when I told him what was going on.
I live alone in a small house and had a demonic infestation between late 21 and early 22. I experienced lights turning on and off, faucets turning on full blast, small items knocked off the table. The house was locked up with no wind and a stack of paper was flicked off the shelf and onto the floor like someone was thumbing through it one by one. Bed sheets pulled off with force, horrible nightmares, unmistakable sensations of somebody tapping you on the shoulder and you turn around to find nobody. Woke up from a deep sleep to a stinging sensation on my chest, left pec, and the next morning find 3 scratches like cat claws. 2 perpendicular lines scratched into my back while I was in the shower. I think this was meant to be an upside-down crucifix. One night, I wake up levitating and the final syllable comes bellowing out of my mouth loud as F like I had been sleep talking, and my whole body, head to toe, drops about a 12 inches back into the mattress. I've had those dreams where you fall off something and wake up abruptly, but this was not that. The residual spring in the mattress was bouncing for a couple of seconds after I dropped. I never really believed this stuff before it happened to me. After all this, I found episodes of A Haunting on YouTube and saw all of those things that happened to others who appeared on the show. Seems like they have a bag of parlor tricks they always use.
Be me working at a stable for the summer 5 hours from home. I spent the night sleeping with the owner's daughter. Old-ass Canadian ranch, over 200 years old. All the family gets buried in the family cemetery. One night I had a lucid dream. I was in the family cemetery. I fed a revenant. I was pulled under one of the tombs into an amphitheater-like area made of dirt. In the center was a stone pentagram with my blood on it. It sank into the floor and rose back up with about an 8-year-old girl on it. She was grayish blue, dark eyes with beautiful long hair. She was a really gorgeous kid. She introduced herself. Her name was Catherine. She sits down next to me and has a chat. I ask her why she seems so angry. She tells me she can't remember, but she's all alone now and she just wants the world to burn. I understand. We chat a bit more. She knows I've been seeing the girl at the farm. She shows me what the house I was in is like. She shows me the house as a rotting, evil husk, broken and diseased in every way. She holds out a rotten apple and a rotten knot from an apple tree and says, "See, this is the family's nature." I woke up. I share the story with the rancher's daughter. Catherine has been bothering the family for about 100 years. There used to be a school on the ranch. It burned down one day. She didn't make it out. Out of shame, the family buried her away from the family cemetery. That night I was woken up by the daughter. Catherine is hanging upside down from the ceiling, staring at the daughter's face, not saying anything, just watching. Daughter freaks out. I say hi to Catherine, she looks at me and disappears. I explain to the daughter that Catherine is in death who she was in life, a little girl who was betrayed and is now angry at the family for not helping her. Daughter doesn't care. Shit keeps happening in the house. Catherine starts playing with the daughter's 3-year-old boy. Catherine used to do this a lot with the daughter apparently. She started getting violent once the daughter got too old. I talked to Catherine a few more times. I understand her, but I don't want her to feel like she can be around me. I ask her if she would be calm if we moved her body back to the family cemetery. She says it would help. I followed the daughter to the tree that Catherine was buried under. Willie's out of 10, the daughter runs away. I look up into the tree, she's just watching me. I decided I probably shouldn't make a deal with a spirit. Go back to the house. Force Catherine away as best as I can. We all have a few peaceful days. Couple days later, she's back. She's running frantically through the house, crying. Catherine hides in a little closet upstairs. Something follows her. It's the shadow man with hat. He tells her to keep hurting the family. She says she doesn't want to. He starts hurting her. I nope the hell out. Nope to my luggage, pack it up really quick. Nope to my car. Nope to my province. Nope all the way home. No way am I getting involved when a fourth-dimensional being is manipulating human spirits. No way. I still hear, see, or feel Catherine every once in a while. She's a bit happier now. I suggested the family hires someone to move her coffin. Maybe it happened. I don't know. Every once in a while, though, I think about her, the beautiful little girl she was who just needed compassion. I smile a bit and share a drink with her. I'll pick a flower for her sometimes when I'm walking in a field or something. I show her the compassion she hasn't had in a long time. She's calming, but she's still damaged. Some wounds never heal. I hope she calms down, though. She's a good girl.
Hello/X/. I have a story to tell you, anons. I have always been skeptical in my life. All these ghost stories were nothing but bullshit for me. But something happened 2 years ago that changed my mind. Friend rents a house in a ghetto. Very low rent. The house was inhabited for 6 years. Turns out it was a dope house for trafficking and stuff like that. Some neighbors said that some guys died there. We didn't believe shit at the time. So my friend was living there and working. He was a coke addict and had an hero tendencies. One day he invited me to go there and have some beers. We got drunk and started to walk through the house. I felt very mentally exhausted somehow. I slept on the couch and woke at 4 a.m. He was doing some lunch and the knife he was cutting the bread with suddenly just disappeared. We searched for the knife in the whole kitchen, and it turns out it was beside a book on the top of the fridge. Shit gets real. We started to talk about how that house felt strange and eerie, and suddenly the front door of the house opens, a very slow and heavy sound. We freaked out and drank some vodka. Things started to get serious, like seeing ghosts running through the staircase and voices talking with each other, but they sounded very low. Things breaking like plates falling in the ground, and things just kept disappearing all the time. I got out of that house and he said he would cancel his lease and go back to his parents' house because he felt like shit all the time there, trying to hero and snorting the hell out of dust. It's been 2 years since that house was inhabited. No one wants to live there, feels like they know what's in there.
I have 2 stories of my own, but keep in mind they're very much secondhand. I was only like 2 or 3 years old when this all happened. Mom and Dad moved into a new house in rural Kansas because Mom got a new job as a nurse in a small town, and this was the only place we could stay. 1-story house basically out in the middle of a field. Dad stayed at home and took care of me and my 4-year-old brother. One night he wakes up to some thumping out in the hallway. Older bro and I both slept in a small bunk bed in the same room. Dad is worried one of us got up and is running around in the halls. He checks our beds and sure enough, we're both there. He peeks out into the hall and flips on the lights. Nothing's wrong. Dad has to take a leak all of a sudden. As he's walking through the hallway to the bathroom at the other end, he feels something dart past his legs. Something about knee height. Almost trips and falls. Hears that same thudding from the far end of the hall. There's nothing there causing it, but he can see the floorboards getting pressed down as though something were stomping really hard on them. This happened for the next few nights, with even my mom hearing it when she wasn't working the graveyard shift. Dad wakes up in the middle of the night again, but with sleep paralysis. Can't move, can't hardly breathe. Watches as the door to the bedroom slowly opens. Absolute pitch blackness on the other side. Tall figure walks in. Dad says it looked like it was wearing some kind of trench coat. I asked him if it had a hand, but he couldn't remember. Walks to the bunk bed me and my brother are sleeping in. Carefully picks me up, cradles me in its arms, and goes to walk out of the room. Stops and makes eye contact with Dad. Dad says he couldn't see its eyes, but he just knew it was staring back at him. With all the force he can muster, he just manages to mutter, "Stop." Sleep paralysis ends. He instantly scrambles out of bed and turns on the light, waking up everyone. According to him and my mom both, I was laying on the floor in the middle of the room and the door was wide open.
Okay, so my friends and I have been going to another one of my buddy's house to party. Said buddy's parents are separated, and this happened to be his dad's house. His dad hardly ever stays there because of work. The first time I went there, me and my friends had a weird feeling about the place. 4 out of the 5 boys in my group reported hearing deathly screams. The chandelier in his dining room was spinning and flickering. I thought nothing of it and started playing piano. After playing piano, I walked up to the chandelier, and as I approached it, the chandelier stopped spinning and stopped flickering. And as I walked away, I looked back, it started spinning and flickering again. When Andrew, I'll use this name guy, who invited us over to the house, was there, everything was good and calm. Last night he let us party there and left for about 3 hours to go to another party. As soon as he left, we all felt a dark feeling. So this is where shit started happening. Me and 2 other buddies went upstairs to explore because we were bored. The master bedroom was connected with a bathroom too, and there was 2 doors to enter each room from the hallway. The master bedroom door was open about a foot, and the bathroom door was closed. As I opened the bathroom door, the master bedroom door slammed shut really hard. I booked it down the stairs but looked in the mirror going down, and the lights flickered 5 or 6 times I can't remember. The 2 other friends ran downstairs and were right behind me. They saw the bathroom door swung wide open and hit against the wall. Now there were only 4 of us in the house at the time. 3 of us were upstairs and my other friend was smoking more downstairs. We kept hearing weird noises. When we tried to watch TV after this happened, the TV froze and wouldn't turn off. When we walked in certain areas, it felt colder. Before we left, we got really freaked out. So we grabbed all our shit and ran to the door to get our shoes on. As we all ran out, we all heard piano playing and the same screams from the first night. The last person to run out of the house ran out with one shoe on because he was so scared. He said he felt like someone was behind him, and when he looked back in the mirror in the doorway, he saw another figure in the mirror, along with him. As we drove past the house, all the lights that were off were on. I acquired the lighter from the house, tried looking it up, but found nothing. Couldn't find anything on the numbers or the logo. Kinda creepy that it has an angel on it.
Hey/X/first-time poster. I have told this story to all my friends and family, but I want to share it with those who may be able to help me understand what I may have experienced. While my cousin and I were eating burgers on his back porch around sunset, the topic of his house being haunted comes up. It's a very old ranch-style home, looks kind of creepy to begin with, so it's not the most unbelievable things I've ever heard. He tells me that there was a murder self-end in the house before they moved in, but the hauntings only affect the original parts of the house. The addition has no paranormal activity. His aunt joins us and tells a story of how one summer they were not keeping up with maintaining the land, and one morning they woke up to their gardening tools scattered across the yard. I take it with a grain of salt. My aunt is a practicing pagan. I ask my cousin where he thinks the most haunted part of his house is. He says his bedroom closet. Fast forward a few hours, here is the series of events that took place. Laying in bed, my cousin is already fast asleep. Went from totally fine to hacking up massive amounts of phlegm. Feel a strange presence coming from the closet. What baffles me is that his closet is tiny and packed with shit. There isn't any room for anything else to fit in there. Wake up cousin to ask for any cough medicine. He gets some, and I tell him what's happening. He understands and stays up with me, as I couldn't fall asleep coughing every few seconds. Go into the main part of the house, as we didn't want my coughing to wake everyone else up. Sit by the floor vent and can see into the basement. Moonlight can be seen as it seeps in through the basement window. Swear to God heard a needle drag onto a vinyl record. The only way I can describe this music is Great Gatsby-era ballroom dancing music or some shit. I wonder if the cough syrup is messing with me. Look to my cousin to confirm if I'm going crazy. He nods and sees and hears the same things I do, but looks less rattled than myself. Sounds of footsteps follow the patterns of the moving shadows. Seriously weird shit. By now, it's about 4 in the morning. I ask if we can just stay up and play video game until the sun comes up. Boot up Diablo 2 and play for a while, but my cousin falls asleep on the couch. Have Diablo 2 on home PC, familiar with music and sound effects, hear things in headphones that aren't in the game. It sounds like children singing this weird hymn. It doesn't feel like auditory hallucinations. It sounds like this is being beamed directly into my head for some reason. The only thing I can compare it to is the music that plays on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire when it gets into the very tough questions. Children singing gets louder and louder. Mix in some screaming and laughing. I truly believe I have lost my mind. At the same time, I swear the recliner in his living room goes into a full recline and then back into an upright position. When the sun comes up, everything ceases. /X/WTF did I experience? Sun comes up. Voices cease immediately.
Hey/X/. This is my first real post on this board. After a few months of lurking, I finally decided to contribute with a story of my own. Be me. Last summer, went to a friend's house with 2 other friends for D&D night. Play D&D and doing other stupid shit. The DM, who we will call C, brings up a past upstairs neighbor. Says that neighbor used to play with Ouija boards, and that for some odd reason, Whatever his neighbor summoned wound up haunting his bedroom and bedroom closet. We talked about it for a good 10 minutes, while my other friend, whom we will call K, looked at us with skepticism. Stoner friend G just sort of sat there. We all decided to get up and walk to the bedroom. All seemed fine. As I said, C reminded us, the closet is the real hotspot. He opens the door and walks in, seemingly fine. I felt alarm bells go off in my head, almost like a warning that that closet was dangerous. I dismiss it as nothing and walk inside. Nothing? This isn't too bad, I tried to say. I was cut off by this feeling in my head. It felt like something inside was being squeezed, like when someone places their hands on your temples and squeezes your head. Whatever felt was being squeezed felt like it was there, yet it wasn't, if that makes any sense. If I had to go out on a limb, I'd imagine that's my soul. Without a word, I leave the closet and the room sitting at the table, like before my head in my hands, trying to process whatever just happened. The next day, I began thinking about it, and something seemed to occur to me. Remember what I was taught back to when I went to church and when I watched various documentaries on the occult. I was the only Christian in a room of atheists. Yes, I chill with atheists and engage in thought-provoking conversation, hang out with them, etc., though I think agnostic would be a better term for them. But hey, they call themselves atheists, but that's beside the point. My old pastor once mentioned that demons didn't tolerate anything having to do with God or anything have to do with religion as a whole. Months pass, and apparently my friend's closet ceiling fell in due to a plumbing issue. Old apartment. I went to check it out with him, and the alarm bells in my head went off again, thus leaving me standing in the doorway. I'm never setting foot in that damn closet again. Fuck that.
A friend's mom passed away a little over a month ago. It was very sudden and she died while watering her garden. She ran a local museum dedicated to the history of our smallish town. Being a history nut, she of course purchased a home built in 1873. It's one of the oldest buildings in town, and I'm helping my friend renovate and move things so he can sell it and move on with his life. Now I've known my friend since high school and I've stayed at this home many times. This place absolutely reeks of the paranormal, and I'd definitely say it's haunted. There's a heavy metal door that leads to a root cellar that's swung open on multiple occasions. This is a big heavy door with a latch that's difficult to move even for a big guy like me. There's also lots of footsteps that can be heard at night, as well as the occasional whisper. What can be done to limit or remove any spirits in this residence? Anyone that views this home is going to sense something is wrong, and it will make it difficult to sell.
Sage the place, or holy water. I had a friend whose family simply sprinkled holy water in each room while praying. She said after that they stopped hearing voices.
Saging the place and praying is one way to do it, but if you have any means by which to get some friends together and have a good time in the root cellar and upstairs, smoke some cigarettes, drink some beer, and play some music, ghosts hate that and it will really piss them off. Find something old that was left behind and take it to the backyard and piss on it. Have your friends piss on it too. You have to really assert yourself around ghosts or they will never stop going in and out the fucking walls and whining about finding some key or corpse hidden in a wall. Ghosts are selfish as fuck. If you want to really get at the ghosts, you could market the home as a B&B with the angle that guests get to abuse sad ghosts. Real Casper motherfuckers. I'm sure there's a market for that shit on the dark web. Don't be afraid to sleep in there either, especially in the root cellar. Those ghosts don't want you to know that the cellar is the coolest place in the house in the summer. Clean it up good. Break any snow globes you find. Good luck, anon.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.
Remember to check the Odyssey and Rumble pages for separate archives of previous broadcasts.